Hello everyone, we're the Armenian satiric news show ArmComedy, and from time to time we do these webisodes in English to let the whole world know what's going on in our region.
And by time to time, we mean every time our neighbor Azerbaijan decides to escalate the situation on the border. Spoiler alert, they did it again. So while the entire planet was dealing with the coronavirus and having to stay at home and endure the presence of their loved ones next to them all day, Azerbaijan apparently got bored.
On June 12th, a military jeep type of vehicle by the gentle name of UAZ was full of Azerbaijani soldiers and crossed the Armenian border in the Tavush region.
And since they were trespassing a state border and, what's worse, not wearing surgical masks, they were told to abandon the truck and leave, which they did.
But shortly returned, backed by artillery strikes, and this is how the UAZ ended up looking.
Naturally, Azerbaijan says Armenia started it, but for some reason the UAZ lies on the Armenian side of the border. So either Azerbaijan is lying or Armenia called on Magneto of the X-Men to pull it in using mind power.
Equally probable versions. Anyway, who would start military actions when the entire world is dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic? In the UN alone, 170 countries signed a resolution vowing not to start any military shenanigans until the pandemic is over.
Could you zoom on the countries that signed the resolution? The letter A. Argentina, Armenia, Australia, Austria, but I don't think I see it here.
Azerbaijan was among the few who never signed it. They couldn't be more blatant in their disregard for the coronavirus. So after a lot of shooting targeting civilian residences, on July 14th, the Azerbaijani held a rally.
Now, you may have seen a lot of peace rallies, but you're about to see your first war rally.
Thousands gathered on the streets of Baku demanding a full-scale war with Armenia. That's what the rally was about.
Or as some call it, the Coronapalooza or the COVID Fest 2020.
The sneezing man. Anyway, the demands were kind of heard since Azerbaijan continued to shell Armenian villages, lost a general, a tank, and a $30 million worth Israeli drone.
Imagine losing $30 million in a single minute.
Or as Dan Bilzerian calls it, a regular Wednesday.
Anyway, despite the magnitude of the attacks on Armenia, international community remained largely uninterested and made calls for ceasefire from both sides.
But we're the ones being attacked by tanks and a $30 million drone.
Both sides should cease fire.
They hit a COVID mask production facility.
Hence, stop hitting each other's mask production factories, both of you.
But our civilian residences were targeted.
Both of you, just stop, both of you. Violence is not the answer. So basically, if I were to slap you right now, the international community would tell us to stop, both of us.
Well, and also we'd both be guilty, so don't try.
Vay üstün çağrılar vay.
Համեն սախն է ծակվել, համ այդ դրուբեկն է ծակվել, սախ ջրի լծվել է։
International community, that was a kindergarten.
I'm kind of in between something right now, okay? Could you just stop, both of you stop doing whatever you're doing?
Later the same day, Azerbaijan's Ministry of Defense made a statement that would make ISIS, Osama bin Laden, and Darth Vader very proud. Armenia must not forget that our missiles can reach Metsamor nuclear power plant, says Azerbaijan's Ministry of Defense.
Yep, they're threatening to blow up a nuclear plant just to get us.
Okay, school level of knowledge of physics or watching at least one season of the show Chernobyl will tell you blowing up your neighbor's nuclear plant is not a very good idea.
You know why Chernobyl had only one season? Because not much is left after a nuclear explosion, that's why.
And just in case Azerbaijan is that grotesquely incompetent, there are these guys at ResearchGate who simulate what would happen if a nuclear plant was to explode. Here's the picture for Metsamor plant. So that really black area, that means everything is fucked for eternity, covers Armenia, our good neighbor Georgia, and most of Azerbaijan itself.
The blackish area that says everything is fucked for a couple of centuries covers all of Azerbaijan, half of their big brother Turkey, Iran, and some of Russia. Do you think these countries are currently open to nuclear holocaust?
Don't think they're particularly excited about that plan. In fact, in a recent interview to Al Jazeera, the notorious villain Gru describes Azerbaijan's plan as, quote, too cartoonish.
Anyway, Azerbaijan's president Ilham Aliyev tried to contact his Minister of Foreign Affairs, but couldn't find him.
What?
Xarici İşler Nazirliği neyle meşgul idi?
What was the foreign minister doing? Where he was?
Ayın 12'sinde
We were all at work after July 12th events, and I couldn't find him.
iş yerinde.
See, couldn't find him. It's like one of those Finding Waldo books. You try hard again and again, and you just give up at some point.
Okay, and what's the deal with his sleeves? Is he bringing the 80s fashion back or something?
Let's hope that's the only disaster he's bringing.
And let's hope the international community will finally give a proper assessment of the escalation without using standard templated phrases and really analyzing the international nuclear terrorism threats, the environmental disaster threats.
And those 80s sleeves!
Yeah, definitely, those sleeves have to go. And while we were talking, two guys from Azerbaijan that live in Russia bought 3 boxes of Armenian apricots from a farmer's market and did this.
Ermeniler satan deli asıl Ermeni. Не то что Ermeni, Ermeni.
Okay, now I'm pissed. That's 3 boxes of perfectly good apricots.
There must be a Geneva Convention or 2 banning destruction of apricots in peacetime.
I don't think anyone cares right now. Azerbaijan deployed artillery behind their own villages and was using them as human shields, and that in fact is covered by conventions, but nobody cares. You know what the international community said?
What?
Nothing! They're still getting over seeing Aliyev's rolled up sleeves.
Okay, we know everyone's busy with the coronavirus and stuff, but unless these things are condemned, they're bound to repeat over and over again.
So stay safe, everyone, and really don't roll up your sleeves in that way.